I stand out so much in all my yellow. It's quite nice. It's quite a nice contrast. I kind of suit the setting. Most of us are, mate. Most of us are. Okay, so I wasn't able to level up. That's absolutely fantastic. Let's go do some murdering in the snow. You are pure. You are snow. Oh god. We are the useless sluts that they mow. Whoa, whoa. I haven't played this game in over a week, to be honest. I think the last time I left you guys, I was about to go house hunting up in Dublin, which is what I've been doing. This looks terrifying. It's like it's kind of possessed by something. No. No. Yeah, sure. No, no, Sherlock. Yeah, so I've spent the past week up there. I haven't actually played the game in a while, which we'll blame that abysmal first confrontation on. Okay, don't need to fight him yet. He's only an archer. I don't know how well it went, to be honest. I got one viewing in a really nice area. I should hear back tomorrow whether I got it or not. I'm not holding my breath. I mean, it is crazy up there at the moment. I don't know how many Irish people, well, I should probably check the analytics for that, actually watch this. But if you saw, it was all over Reddit and Twitter yesterday about what happened to the protesters that were occupying a derelict house. I think it was near Merrion Square. I could be completely wrong in saying that. But what it was basically some peaceful protesters were occupying an abandoned building, and I think it was fairly late in the evening or at night. An unregistered white van with no tax, insurance, license plate, anything to identify it, arrived up. A few lads in balaclavas got out with a police escort. So these guys that looked very reminiscent of paramilitary forces from up the north. I know if anyone knows the history of Ireland, we have quite a deep-rooted history with terrorism and sectarianism and all that sort of stuff. And to see our own police force, the police themselves were also in balaclavas. They went in and they bet the living daylights out of the protesters, got them out of the house. I think a few of them ended up in hospital with concussions, which led to further protests outside police stations, just going... I don't know, actually, is it called doxing? Is that what people do when they're taught? I don't know what that term actually means. That's how they become fiends, just unlike Final Fantasy X. But yeah, there's an insane housing crisis up there at the moment, and that's kind of the stuff that's going on. The protests in the streets, I think yesterday when I was leaving to come home, was, I wouldn't say phenomenal, because compared to the repeal movement and all the stuff that was going on in the past few months with that was phenomenal to see the support out for that. But still, just overnight, how much traction this movement has got is pretty impressive, and the shows just how dire the housing crisis in this country is at the moment. Hopefully by the time this episode goes out, things might be better. Unlikely, considering that all of our TDs, which are like MPs, are elected representatives. I say all of them, all the TDs. A majority of them themselves are landlords, so it is in their interests to be protecting their own against us commoners. Ah, there's a little Kodama. Quite an easy one to find, isn't he? You are pure. You are snow, we are the useless sluts that they mold. That is the Manic Street, a line from the Manic Street Preachers, Little Baby Nothing. I don't know how many people know the Manics. They're probably my favorite band of all time. It's one of the singles off their first album, Generation Terrorists. It was actually a duet with Tracy Lords, who was a... Oh dear. He snuck up on me. Oh, I don't know if I should be saying something like that and what we were about, the topic we were about to broach. If you're interested in knowing who she is and why it was quite a statement to have her duetting on the song, maybe look it up yourself. I'm not too sure I should talk about it. But Generation Terror and the Manics, just what that album was phenomenal. Like, it was this kind of glam not post-punk, just pure punk. Like, it was basically the Clash meets Guns N' Roses. And they were just these four lads from the valleys in Wales that thought they were going to sell 16 million copies of their first album. Oh, genie mackers. They thought they would sell 16 million copies of their very first album and then kind of disappear in a blaze of glory, kind of like J.D. Salinger, you know, become the great recluses. Thankfully, that's not what happened. They went on to create a great deal more work. But like the idea of Generation Terrorists in itself at the time was fantastic. Like, they wanted to implement a load of, this is really trying to bait me into going in front of that. Sorry, using my train of thought. That while it referenced both Guns N' Roses and Public Enemy and the Sex Pistols and the Clash in terms of its lyrical content, there was a lot of... That hit, yes. This should be... That slot spell makes enemies kind of a bit, you know, I feel kind of bad for how weak it makes them. Not so bad that... Oh dear. What's going on here now? He's throwing spells at me. Haha! I beat you! So what was I saying before he whooped me again? Oh yeah, we were talking about Generation Terrorists. Does that break? No. Shock horror. Go away. I hate... These are my least favorite enemies in this game. Tedious. Oh, you can attack this. I wonder if I'm just going to be smacking at that for nothing. Oh, I just set myself on fire by doing that. Fantastic. Yes, so with Generation Terrorists, they wanted to employ... Oh? Oh, that probably destroyed the big crystal. Okay, thanks for spelling it out for me, cat. Yeah. Not gone, but I can break it. So with the Situationist International was an art movement kind of based in Europe, and they used to have this kind of prank where they would put a lot of their writings and manifestos and manuscripts into booklets the covers of which would be made out of sandpaper, so when they were put on bookshelves and stuff, like in stores or libraries or in someone's homes, they would destroy the books on either side of it whenever it was taken out or moved, or whenever the one on either side of it was. They didn't actually do that with the album. I think there was a few other ideas of what they were going to do with the cover, such as they tried to use Bert Stearns. Bert Stearns' photographs of Marilyn Monroe. They're the ones that she, when she received the negatives, she like scratched into them with nail varnish, and like she just basically like put crosses all over them and tried to destroy them, and they look beautiful. Like the photographs themselves were beautiful to begin with, but just like for someone like her and to display such intense self-loathing, and for that to come true in how she responded to the photographs, it was really, really beautiful. The other one was, what was the artist's name? He did the Piss Christ. It was essentially a cross with Christ on it, suspended in a jar of piss. Yeah, make of that one what you will. I'm not commenting, don't want to upset anyone, but it's something that exists in the world. What they ended up eventually doing was just, it's like chest of the band's lyricist Richie James Edwards, one of the 4 members at the time, not a founding member, but probably the most famous member, standalone member of the group. I won't go too much into why he is so famous, but how did I discover the Manics? That's probably a good story. I say good. It's a story, maybe not a good one. It was an English teacher when I was in school. I think, you know what English teachers are like. They're always trying to get you to learn like the quote of the day and stuff like that. But as his reference point for doing this, he was talking about this album or not this album, but this band that with every single they released, it had a different quote from people ranging from Valerie Solanas to William Burroughs would be on it that would relate to the song and the artwork in some way. And that band was the Manics. So I think every song on Generation Terrorists, not just the singles, had its own quote to accompany it. Don't want to mess this up now. He seems like a powerful version of the Cyclops. Into his mouth, and it still gave me that. I even feel a bit like I didn't deserve that. Like, their career that they didn't quit, or that they didn't manage to sell 16 million copies of Generation Terrorists, just meant that they had an even more interesting and exciting lineage. Like, I think they were one of the first Western rock bands to ever play for Fidel Castro in Cuba. They got the first #1 single of the new millennium in the UK. They've had numerous #1 and #2 albums. A lot of stuff. we'll leave it at that. That's just the stuff that topped off my head. But just like the narrative that unfolded around them as they went from the angry young punks into kind of the statesmen of elder rock. Is quite a special history, particularly when you look at a lot of UK bands from the 90s that kind of just eventually ended up splitting up or breaking up and then reforming in like the late noughties just to get all that reunion tour money. Like, they have just always slogged on and soldiered on and have just always been working and putting stuff out, even when it hasn't been the greatest material. They've always said that, oh dear, this lady looks a bit scary. Oh, I think I fought one of these in one of the submissions. Let's... Ah yeah, that's not too bad. Reminds me of Elsa, you know, out of Disney's Frozen. Yeah, let it go, Something, something inspiring. I don't know how that song goes, even though it looks like it's going to be a good world in Kingdom Hearts 3. I suppose I'm a male in my 20s. I'm not going to have an emotional connection to Frozen. What I do though, is Elsa's story based on the Hans Christian Andersen's Ice Queen fairy tale? I'm not too sure. I have vague memories of reading that as a kid in the big collection of Hans Christian Andersen books that I had. But oh dear. Let's break this. But I think it was like in early 2000s, I want to say 2002, 2003, there was like, you know, like how It was done as the mini-series, the original It movie, it was split in like 2 parts. It was the same as that. It was like a straight-for-TV movie mini-series type deal. Oh, sugar. That's... Oh no. Come on. Two. I am not liking these guys. They intimidate me. I don't like to be intimidated and made feel small. Okay, so that broke another one of those ice walls, which is probably the one near the start, considering that let me go back to the start. What was I talking about? Oh, that made for television Ice Queen movie. I can't remember who was... There was a really famous actress that played the Ice Queen in it. I can't think of her name. I remember... I think it aired over here in the summer, because I remember getting really upset that we get to go on summer holidays. We went to like Spain or something, and I didn't... We had to like rely on a relative to record it for us, so I only saw the very first part of the movie. I don't think I ever saw how it ended. So I'm going to start talking about a movie that I'm not sure I've ever seen to completion, because that is the sort of silly Billy that I am. Okay, I can hear the crystal. That's another one. Shouldn't have rested that just yet. Oh no, that's going to bring all these back to life because I died, isn't it? Ah. See, this is why I hate them. Like, they just run into you and you can't hit them. Oh, worst enemy ever. Maybe it's down here. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, I should have killed him there with that last blow. Haha! Getting back into the flow of things. Now let's smash up this ice crystal. I'm breaking the ice, you could say. Doesn't really work, does it? Okay. Right, so what was I talking about? God, you must get... either you're really used to that or else you're really sick of me being like, what was I talking about? The Snow Queen. Or the Ice Queen. Yeah, so... Well, the version of the story I know, it's kind of that there's this hotel in a very icy, snowy country. Maybe it's just wintertime. And the hotel is run by affluent family, and they have a daughter named Gerda, who is our female protagonist. And either early in the movie or just beforehand, her mother, the mother of the family, dies, and then Gerda falls into like a deep depression and sadness. But soon after, luckily, the family hire a new guy to work in the reception, or just like as a general person around the hotel, named Kai. And lo and behold, his masculine charms make Gerda come out of her sadness. From they start going on dates, and they achieve that rare, wonderful thing known as true love. Now let's flash back probably hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of years, and you will see the 4 seasons who are in this story sisters. So you have winter, autumn, spring, and summer, are presented with a magical mirror from the devil, because you should always take presents from the devil and not question it. And what it showed them was like all of their seasons basically prospering and at their best. And the Ice Queen, or Winter in particular, got a bit greedy and stole the mirror from herself and went high up into her castle of ice in the mountains, where I think it was something to do like the mirror was too close to God, like evil was too close to goodness and love, so it shattered into like countless pieces and fell to earth, and it landed up in the eyes of people. So I think it's kind of like meant to be a justification of why people can have some bad traits. It's because part of this mirror that makes you kind of greedy and a bit hungry for power has fallen into their eyes. So the Ice Queen sets out on a mission to like reclaim all the pieces of her mirror, while all her sisters just kind of get on. That's kind of fitting for where this story is going. So yeah, flash forward back to Gerda and Kai. They're out on a date, and I think they're out on like an ice lake skating or something, and the Ice Queen appears, and it's terrifying, and she's beautiful but fierce and intimidating, and she kidnaps Kai because it turns out that the last piece of her mirror resides within his eye. So she gets that. I think there's some kind of like the mirror makes him lash out at times or something, or like he does have some kind of bad traits, and it's all blamed on the mirror and not just him being a bit of a douche. Okay, I'm just running into nothingness there. So the Ice Queen has captured Kai, and she kind of becomes a bit jealous of that him and Gerda have something that she has never been capable of, which is true love. So she decides she wants that from herself, and in particular she wants it from Kai. So she's not just going to keep him for the glass, but she's just going to keep him as her little toy boy. Oh, nice. Very nice indeed. Not that what I was saying, but what I just got there. Oh, this isn't going to be good, is it? Let's be prepared. We'll throw down some spikes because... Oh god. Oh no. And I don't have... Let's see what we can do here. Slowed him down, but he still hits hard. Okay, whew. That could have been disastrous. Thankfully, I had a bit of Amrita. Ew, sorry. break this? Yes, we can. Okay. So, after Kai has been abducted by the Snow Queen, Gerda sets out, where are we now? On a quest to save her one true love. So she has to venture through all of the seasons. It's something like that. So she has to go through like the world of spring and autumn and summer to eventually get the winter. And it's kind of creepy. It's like all of the seasons are trying to not capture her, but entice her to stay with them. They say it's out of like their concern for her well-being because they know how wicked and evil their sister is and what she'll do to poor old Gerda if she captures her. But it's never fully explained, I don't think, but there seems to be a much darker undertone to it than that. Maybe it is and I just can't remember. Again, not sure if I've actually seen the whole film, so we'll see when I try and recall how it ends. Oh, you stupid. Right, block. And boom. Get out of here. Fight my way out of here. Heal. Too early. Oh. I was like, what is he doing? He's just slashing randomly. It's like, oh, he's slashing randomly. It's a pretty useful attack. So eventually Gerda ends up finding Kai. And okay, yep, I don't think I've seen the end of the movie. There's definitely something weird that like the Ice Queen has like a polar bear bodyguard, and when Gerda and Kai, I'm guessing love conquers the power of ice or something like that, the polar bear turns into like a creepy looking dude and carries the body of the Ice Queen off. I think I'm right in saying that. What do we have here? Usual, just wreck it. Didn't really wreck it. And everyone lives happily ever after. I think the Ice Queen like makes Kai put the mirror back together again or something like that. But yeah. Story without an end. That's a cardinal sin, isn't it? What do I remember of the Hans Christian Andersen one? I think it's a bit different in that the mirror isn't made to show your potential, but it shows. In Hans Christian Andersen, it's like the devil takes on the form of a troll or something like that. Okay, we've just come back to the start there. And he like gives it to a load of other trolls. The mirror, and it like just heightens your badness and encourages you to be bad, maybe. Okay, we're gonna go out this way. Let's see. See, I don't want to rush at him just in case there's anything here that could catch me off guard. Catch me outside, how about that? Ooh, oh. Oh. I mean, I got your sister with a headshot. It's only right that you kind of... Ooh. Got me like that. I still win, because I am the champion. I'm going to call them Shivas, little Shivas from now on. Because, not to do with the Hindu goddess, but the Final Fantasy ice summoning. Who I think kind of relates to a bit to death and stuff as well. Didn't kill it. These things are getting strong. Where are we now? Oh, there's one of those walls. Let's go back to the demon wall and see. I think you do gestures to these and you try and trick them into letting you through. Okay, let's see. Is it... Nope, he didn't like that. Don't think he liked that. No, he's not happy. Definitely not happy. Get out of there. Get out of there. Ooh, sugar. I think this is the first time I fought one of these relatively legit, and I'm not doing well. Oh god, really not doing well. Is that dead? Yes! Just used up most of my health, but yeah, it's dead. And for what? Essentially, oh, okay, it is. It's not just back to the little Shiva. But it is just back around to the start of the level? No. I've come quite far. I'm actually kind of worried about dying now. Oh, Kadama. Oh, it's when I attack. That makes him go into hiding. It's not when enemies are around. I'm not going to hurt you, little buddy. Oh, I have a lot of Amrita to level up as well. Let's drop down and just hope for the best that we get to a shrine. Yeah, the crystal isn't going to summon anything. Other side. Everything is always the other bloody side with you guys. That looks like another door down there that we could get into. It's around here. Oh ho ho. Oh, Shantae. Shantae, you stay. That looks like a boss door, so I'm not going to go into it just yet. But it's good to know that we're close by. God, I play too many video games that I can tell that straight off, don't I? Let's see what this is. Yeah. Oh ho ho! Snow is a weird enough element, isn't it? I mean, like when you think of it in terms of symbols and that, like it's pure, it's white, which you kind of associate like with goodness and chaste. You don't have chaste doesn't necessarily have to be good. Okay, that's got us back around to there. That's another shortcut, shortcut, shortcut. We've quite a few shortcuts back to the start of the level, I think. Let's just see how. No, let's go where the little Shiva. Like I'm hungry now. Not hungry like I was complaining in one of the last few episodes, but legit. Like I think I could take on another fight. But yeah, it's pure. I suppose cleansing does relate to its destructiveness as well. Like Game of Thrones is one of the biggest bits of fiction in the world at the moment, and like the whole association with ice and winter is the coming of death, the threat of the unknown. The others, the White Walkers, and not the others like in Lost, which I think might be my favorite TV show of all time. I acknowledge how bad it actually was, that they had no plan, but it doesn't change the fact that he tricked me! That was a trick! The only thing left to do then is go into the boss if there was nothing there. Who would have thought the big spooky door is a boss? Oh, Ice Maiden. Nice French. Yeah, that's about right. Nice little warning again. Just when things about the... Yeah, I'm gonna melt you with my PlayStation overheating, bae. Don't call her bae, that's creepy. That reminds me of someone that I fought very recently. It's a bit Kino Enema-ish. Kind of block. Blocking isn't smart. Oh dear, that was not pleasant. Ooh, get in after that one. That looks dodge. Blowing kisses at me. Nope. Sister Frida, that's the only Dark Souls reference I'm going to make in this episode. Okay guys, so you're probably wondering why I am naked in this run, and that is because I lost the footage to actually beating this boss from the first time around. Well, I didn't lose it corrupted, and I've spent all day trying to get it back and it didn't work. I am a good few missions ahead at this stage, so I just thought I'd show you quite quickly me doing a sort of challenge run. It's not much of a challenge. This is kind of sad, isn't it, to end it on this note. Sorry, Yuki Onna. I'm a horrible, horrible person. Okay, wait. Let's rewind this. Okay, this might be slightly more interesting. We're going to do it with my little Kurishigama, the little sickle on a chain. We'll see how well I do with that. I'm using a lot of ninjutsu and magic as well. I realise putting that slow spell on her is basically turning on easy mode, but I'm also not wearing any armour. I will die in one hit. But then again, I'm like a powerhouse of damage. I think I'm about 4 missions ahead while redoing this. So, again, I mean, you needed a boss to end the episode on. I couldn't let it just go. By God, it is really hard to salvage corrupted data as well, let me tell you that. Here we go. Just so you know, I did die a good 9 to 11 times trying to do that. It wasn't a one-off one go. And that wasn't the most spectacular run, which is a bit unfortunate. Anyway, guys, this has been Her First Time, Hayden Plays Nioh, episode 8. Please like, subscribe, and share with all your friends, and hopefully I will see you back here at the same time next week for episode 9. Have a good one. Bye.